Okay, yeah.
Okay.
We're live.
All right, cool. All right, so I guess let's get right into it.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'll kick it off. What's going on, everybody? So, this is the Sophisticated Savages show. Typically, this show is all about learning. It's all about us figuring things out together, covering anything from entertainment, from media companies to works of fiction, news, political topics, current events, anything like that, covering the market investments, things that we're actively involved with in our own lives. Today, though, we have something to cover, which I'm sure everybody's aware of at this point, that really strikes closer to home than most things, which might grab national attention. So, for those of you who aren't aware, and for those of you who are, we're fellow New Orleanians. We were, my family's many generations born and raised in the city. We actively participate in everything going on with New Orleans. We do a lot of business there. We're real estate agents, and we have two properties listed in the French Quarter where the New Year's morning of what they're calling a terror attack occurred in the city. And so we're real estate agents. That's our primary source of income, and in a partnership that we have called Black Ark Luxury with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. And we actually have a couple of properties that are listed. Literally, I've seen the map of where the truck drove off Canal Street down Bourbon. We have one property listed right now that is, a block and a half away.
Yeah, Iberville.
Yeah, on Iberville. So in order to get from Canal and go down Bourbon, you'll cross over Iberville. And so we're a couple of blocks over, about a block and a half, 2.5 blocks away from where the attack occurred. We have another one listed on Ursuline Avenue as well.
And we've been exactly where the attack has occurred. Could have easily just been there.
We not only have been where the attack occurred. Anybody who's ever been to New Orleans has more than likely spent time on Bourbon Street, but we've been on Bourbon Street at 3 a.m. on New Year's Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've been exactly there, exactly where the attack occurred. And so I guess we can start from the beginning as well. So just to go to it here, I'll pull up the article right now. So according to, let me make sure everybody can see it pretty clearly.
Kinda, yeah.
I move it a little bit without doing anything. Do I need to resize it?
No, I don't know if I would go small screen for articles. I would just communicate.
That's fine. Then yeah. Well, let me just read. So according to AP News, on the day that it happened, they said 10 victims were killed. Mm-hmm. Now they're saying the numbers increased up to 15. So a driver behind the wheel of a pickup truck raced into a crowd of New Orleans revelers on Bourbon Street early on New Year's Day, killing 15 people in what the FBI is investigating as an act of terrorism. After the vehicle stopped, the driver emerged from the truck and opened fire on responding officers, New Orleans police said. And this is also, it's interesting, this is coinciding with another vehicle death incident in Las Vegas where a Tesla Cybertruck exploded outside of I believe it was a Trump hotel. And one thing that they are now potentially linking between the two, and this is according to vtnews.ai, both of the apps were rented vehicles that were rented through the Turo app on the same day. And they also found in the Tesla Cybertruck, they found, because how would it even be possible for a Cybertruck to explode? There's no gas components to it. It's a purely electric vehicle. So potentially if the battery just self-combusted, obviously Tesla's looking into this as well. But they found the presence of gasoline, camp fuel canisters, and large firework mortars in the vehicle. So the authorities are, we're already on there. The FBI is calling this an act of terror. Actually, wait. I want to go back to the New Orleans one because I want to find the guy. Let's see here. Where is the guy? They always make it so hard to find the information that you're actually looking for. Okay. So let's see. So this is ABC News now where we're going to. An Army veteran who was hell-bent on killing as many people as possible drove a rented pickup truck around a parked police car, serving as a barricade, and plowed through a crowd of New Year's revelers on Bourbon Street, New Orleans, leaving at least 15 dead and injuring dozens of others early Wednesday, city and federal officials said. After mowing down numerous people over a 3-block stretch on the famed thoroughfare while firing shots into the crowd, the suspect, identified by sources as Shamsuddin Jabbar, 42, allegedly got out of the truck wielding an assault rifle and opened fire on police officers. Law enforcement officials briefed on the incident told ABC News. Officers returned fire, killing Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas, sources said. At least 2 police officers were injured, one by gunfire. The Biden administration said that the suspect was an American citizen born in Texas. He served in the United States Army on active duty for many years. I saw that he had 2 deployments. For some reason, they're just making this difficult to find. The FBI is studying the videos President Biden referenced in his remarks, which the suspect appears to have recorded while driving from Texas to Louisiana. And the suspect is also heard talking about ISIS, the sources said. They also found there's a photo of I don't know if it was local police or FBI, but a government official. There was a photo of them taking a picture. Apparently, Jabbar had a ISIS flag in the truck, which they removed and took a photo of. Obviously, it's very disturbing with everything, regardless if it was a maniac, a veteran with PTSD, or an Islamic State terrorist. It's very disturbing when something like that happens so close to home. You know, it's interesting when you hear about a mass shooting or a terror incident somewhere around the country, around the world. It's always disturbing and it always hurts, but it's another thing entirely when it's in your back door and not even in your city, but a place that you enjoy all the time. We were in New Orleans on Monday.
Yeah.
We were right there.
Yeah.
We were a block and a half away from where this occurred. I was walking on Canal Street.
Yeah.
What would that have been? 36 hours prior to that happening?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally right there. It's obviously you have emotions that arise, sadness, anger. I just don't understand the connection to ISIS, though, that they're labeling this as. I mean, they were very quick to label it an act of terror, which I guess, depending on how you define an act of terror, sure, it is an act of terror regardless if it's a mass killing. But it just seems so strange to me. I'd love to see the video that he recorded on the way to Louisiana from Texas.
On Fox News right now, it's saying FBI stresses Bourbon Street bloodbath was an evil act of terror, confirms maniac was a lone wolf.
Confirms was a lone wolf.
Yeah.
I don't understand the ISIS flag from a man who served in armed forces for a long career as well. It wasn't like he had like one deployment and then that was it. It was, I mean, from what I read, I can't find it. They make the information so inaccessible.
It's quite oxymoronic that he serves in the U.S. military but is behind ISIS.
I don't understand that.
And, I think it goes into a deeper question of, you have to bring up destabilization in the Middle East. And it goes into, I don't know so much of the history. I've heard from a lot of people say that America actually created ISIS by overthrowing a regime that was in those countries initially,
Mm-hmm.
and then the result of that regime being overthrown to fill the vacuum, ISIS was created. So I've heard a lot of people say that we actually created ISIS, and then supposedly we had stamped out ISIS. After that, ISIS was,
It's not stamped out. It still is. No, it's still active today. It's not. They're not marching on cities like they were in, what was that, 2011, 2012, whatever it was. But ISIS means the Islamic State. They view themselves as a part of the religious order of Islam.
Yeah.
It's a part of Islam to have an Islamic state. You hear of Sharia law. It's where the mandates, the dictates listed out in the Quran are implemented by a governing body. Muhammad was he was a prophet. He had many great philosophies, but he was also a conqueror. He marched on cities. And it overtook so quickly and it became such a powerful force in the world. They made it all the way to Spain. They conquered all the way through Africa from the Middle East into Spain. But the Islamic State, the reason why it was a powerful entity is because, you see this throughout. You're seeing it right now in Syria, where I'm not saying these people, the new regime after the fall of the Assad regime is not a part of ISIS, but I forget exactly what terrorist organizations. The leader of the new regime in Syria was a part of Al-Qaeda and the Taliban, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's two organizations that are labeled as terrorist organizations. And he might be a lot more tolerant. They already put in orders to protect Christians on Christmas Day, which I'm a fan of. But the mandates, and this is where it goes into a deeper thing, the mandates listed out in the Quran do call for these kind of things. It's
the mystery, though, is why New Orleans.
Exactly, because
it
seems so irrelevant.
If you're thinking, if I want to harm America as hard as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I want to make the most strategic, crippling move on America. You think 9/11, New York, you think Houston, California.
Well, he was from Texas as well. There's so many more populated areas to hit if you want to inflict mass destruction
on America, yeah.
The easiest way would be to stay right where you are in Texas.
Texas, Houston, Dallas.
New Orleans has a population of 600,000 people.
Yeah.
Houston has millions.
Mm-hmm.
It's so strange, unless there was some kind of an argument to be made that this individual was so radicalized that he viewed New Orleans, Bourbon Street as the ultimatum of Western depravity, which there's an argument to be made for that. But it seems so strange, so out of place. And so one of two things is true, is that this man was just an absolute lunatic, and there is no explanation to try to understand, peel back the hood and see this is why this happened, or there's something else going on. And that's the thing that's so weird, is that with the, let's call them recent events over the past 10 years or so, but it goes far further back than this. But with how prevalent media is in social media in today's world, the free flow of information is such on rapid fire. It's very difficult to believe and trust anything today, especially when it seems a little bit fishy.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm so hesitant to believe anything until more things come out, especially when the FBI gets involved or these other big 3-letter agencies are being involved. It's just, I don't know what to believe. I don't know who to trust.
Yeah. And, they're saying it's a lone wolf act now. But to me, that makes the least amount of sense. Because why would the terrorists not target Houston or bigger areas, stuff like that? I think there is a heavy lobby right now for us to go back into the Middle East and make war with those Islamic countries. And I can't help but to suspect that is part of the reasoning behind it.
I'm with you. It's a good question to ask when anything like this occurs. When $100 billion gets sent to Ukraine, who would benefit from that?
Mm-hmm.
You can answer. Who would benefit the most from $100 billion being sent to Ukraine?
Probably the rich and wealthy and the people who have given the money, because I think they give them. They didn't just give it. I think they have to pay it back over time, so it's a debt.
Yeah, it's the same thing that the United States did in World War II with England and World War I with England. It's what led to the absolute flourishing of America.
Yeah,
was those kind of things. Okay, so I would list it off as this: the Ukrainian military is going to benefit tremendously from having weapons funds sent overseas to fight Russia.
Mm-hmm.
The people in power, the side deals going on in Ukraine itself, the big weapons manufacturers, BlackRock, we all know
Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, or whatever.
Because that's the thing. When that money gets sent across the ocean, it does a U-turn.
Lockheed Martin, that's a big one.
Lockheed Martin.
Yeah.
It does a U-turn midway across the Atlantic and goes right back to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Because in order for the United States to send $50 billion worth of weapons, where are these weapons being manufactured? Who owns the chain of supply?
Yeah.
It's American publicly traded companies.
Yeah.
And so they would have, if there's no war, it's just like a hospital. If there's no sick people, the hospital doesn't make money. If there's no war, these big companies, which are some of the most powerful companies in the world of all time, don't make any money. So they have a vested interest. You can follow the money. You could see how these things might be playing out, why particular people in Congress might be lobbying so hard into a complex situation which they may not even understand. Mm-hmm. So let's take this isolated incident from the New Orleans quote-unquote terror attack, where this man killed 15 innocent people celebrating New Year's Day on Bourbon Street in New Orleans with a very... It's almost like, why even put the Islamic State flag in the vehicle? So this would be the thought process behind this man. When I inevitably die, when I am killed for whatever reason that I'm taking out my wrath upon society, that after I kill all these people and then I inevitably die, I want them to know that this is my rallying call, is the Islamic State. What is the purpose of this?
Yeah.
Who would benefit from that? Who would benefit from this being tied directly to the Islamic State or the philosophy behind the Islamic State by a supporter of the Islamic State? Who would benefit from that?
Israel.
Would anybody else?
The big war companies,
the exact
that
same
are
people
sending money to Israel right
exactly.
now.
So I want to verify this so that I'm not mistaken. I don't misquote myself. Where's Perplexity?
Just honestly.
You don't have
Chrome.
the app? Okay.
John. Or no, exit that and hit.
It's the same.
Oh, okay.
Or not.
Just exit out, redo it, and hit John in the middle. Yeah, perplexity.
So the thing is, after ISIS, quote unquote, fell, people have this idea that ISIS doesn't any longer exist after, I think it was actually Trump who was in office, or maybe it was Obama that really beat him back.
It was Trump that beat him, that he, quote unquote, said he ended ISIS.
But that's the thing, is that the Islamic State exists, ISIS exists they view themselves as the embodiment of exactly what the name suggests, an Islamic State.
Yeah.
A sect, I won't call it a sect, a group of radicalists who are, in their mind, following the Quran to the letter, who in all reality probably have never read the Quran in a single, what do they call it? A single phrase from it, a single passage from it. A lot of these, and I've read a lot into the way that these young men are typically radicalized, is that they'll have recruitment centers where it's like viewed as a symbol of camaraderie.
Yeah,
that they give them a place to be. And this, think of this, it could be a 17, 18-year-old young man whose father may have been killed, his uncle may have been killed, his brother, by United States special operatives who have been in those areas combating them and trying to quell the rise of radical Islam. And so when these people come with a welcoming hand, you can understand how they would be turned and radicalized into a member of ISIS.
Yeah.
It's not as if it's a small city full of ISIS members and, like a populated area where all of them are concentrated in. They're spread throughout the entire Middle East and even into Central and North Africa and places like Mali and Tunisia and all of these different places. They're all, or what is it, Burkina Faso. They're all throughout those Islamic regions. Wherever there are Islamic people, there will be seeds of ISIS.
Yeah.
And that is in no way condemning the Islamic people. It is condemning that specifically. But let's see. As of 2025, ISIS no longer controls significant territory outright in Syria and Iraq. So what country was just overthrown?
It's almost an idea.
It is an idea.
Now.
It is an idea. What country was just overthrown? Syria.
Syria, yeah.
The largest concentration of ISIS at its highest point was where, according to this? Syria and Iraq.
And that was the Assad thing? Syria?
Assad had no relationship to ISIS. This is the new, I don't even know what you would call them. The new state being established, I guess you could say, is establishing essentially Sharia law, which hopefully is less radical than its counterpoints throughout the Middle East, but it essentially is an Islamic state without being ISIS.
Yeah.
But you could see how easy it would be to tie in this new regime, and perhaps they are, but it would be so simple to tie them in to the broader band of radical Islamist ISIS. And so, at the same time, this I want to pull up on video. Let's go to X. Because if you actually want to find real footage of this stuff, there really is only one place to find it. And it amazes me how this was not covered. I don't understand. You'll see what I want to show you.
Yeah.
I sent this in the group message as well. Oh, wait. hard to see. So here you go. So this is, they're calling it the earthquake bomb. What it really was is they were blowing up a supply depot full of explosives.
Mm-hmm.
But this video right here, this massive, looks like a tactical nuclear bomb detonating, is in Syria.
Mm-hmm.
It's not far from Damascus. And there's actually been reports of Damascus, of Israel dropping bombs on Damascus, essentially invading what they call I believe it's the Golan Heights. Isn't that it?
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, honestly.
We have to tread carefully. Oh, did my mic cut off? There it is again. We have to tread carefully when we start talking about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because this is das Verboten. This is the forbidden fruit right here.
Yeah.
But
it's the truth.
If you're asking me, who would benefit from this lone wolf Islamic terrorist who is a United States war veteran, who is somehow radicalized into following the doctrine of the Islamic State?
Yeah.
After a regime which caught national attention, just like this man probably wanted it to.
Yeah.
Front page of Apple News for 2.5 days now. Who would benefit from that stuff catching mainstream attention on New Year's Day, a day of overwhelming joy and positivity?
Yeah.
Well, I think I don't know. I think you can see the breadcrumbs, if any, were to actually exist. And if it's not as if I'm saying that this is what's happening. It just is so weird and suspicious.
Well, the truth's the truth, and it's okay to ask questions and answer them. Who would benefit the most? Israel, obviously, because they're seeming to take over. They've just about conquered all of Palestine, pretty much. They're now going into Syria, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what better way, I would say, to garner support for all that than to have a ISIS terrorist attack on an American city? And in New Orleans, New Orleans is kind of a sentimental city to America as a whole.
I think you could say that it's universally beloved.
Yeah.
There's not many people who would say, we talk to people if you talk to somebody from the South and you ask them about New York City, they may say, I hate New York City. If you ask somebody from New York City what they think about living in the South, they might say, oh, those people are ignorant, they're this and that. I don't want to have to be, all that church stuff being shoved down my throat. I don't like guns. I don't like this and that. Same thing if you ask somebody from the South about the West Coast and those kind of places. I don't really know who you can ask about New Orleans who would say, I can't stand that place.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it has, I think, the highest level of history.
Well, it's the second oldest city in America, outside of St. Augustine, Florida.
Yeah. So it's got some serious history. The Louisiana Purchase doubled the entire side of the United States. So could maybe attacking New Orleans trigger the emotional spirit.
Well, say what you said about your family at the dinner table.
Well, yeah, I went to have New Year's dinner with my family, and the first thing they said was that ISIS attacked New Orleans, and I was I actually was completely taken aback. I was like, wait, what? ISIS attacked New Orleans? I couldn't believe it. It was like truth stranger than fiction kind of thing. Like, is this a movie? Is this something out of a storybook? You're telling me that ISIS came to New Orleans and attacked New Orleans. I I was like, something is fishy, something's rotten in Denmark about that whole situation. And my family got very upset with me because they were like, these are terrorists. We don't talk about conspiracies at this dinner table. And I was like, I mean, heart goes out to the tragedy and everything, but this is something that should be thoroughly examined and questioned and investigated. And I think that, to jump to straight conclusions, the tone that they sounded like was like, it was almost like 9/11 happened again. And I know 9/11 was a lot of people, more people, but, people still died. People dying, it's people dying. It's horrible all around. But it almost felt like a 9/11, like the terrorists are attacking America again. And I felt the spirit at the table was like, we need to go back to the Middle East. And we need to go back to war and snuff out these terrorisms. And I was like, and just after we finally gotten to a point in America where we've pulled out of the Middle East, right?
In large part, we still have operatives who are there. We're deployed everywhere in the entire
world. Yeah. But largely we've pulled out of the Middle East. We were saying like, no more American lives lost in the Middle East. It's not our thing. So
yeah, I'm looking up the U.S. military recruitment numbers. Essentially, yeah. Well, what you're describing is that it felt like for your family, it was like a rallying cry to essentially like let's go, let's go back to freaking tackle ISIS. Who, like that's the thing. It's like if you were to take down ISIS, you would be in no less than 10 countries across the entire world.
I feel like if we went back to take down ISIS, it would only make them stronger.
That's the reason that ISIS arose.
Yeah, it's a rebel group.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Al Qaeda. It's the same thing with the Taliban. You will never be able to truly defeat these guys unless you fully invaded and occupied. I mean, unless you committed nothing less than a genocide.
Yeah, you wiped them
to wipe
all
them out. Yeah, you would have to wipe out an entire ethnic population.
Yeah.
In order to do this, because for every one that you kill, for every Islamic State, radical Islamic terrorist, Al Qaeda, Taliban member that you kill, there's another one or two young men out there who are being radicalized.
20.
Exactly.
Almost. I'd say there's 20.
It's like a hydra. If you cut off one head, 3 more arise.
Yeah.
Because it's not like these guys exist in a vacuum. It's like that's someone's brother who just got their head blown off by a 50 cal.
Yeah.
That's somebody's uncle,
mom,
father,
sister,
son, mother. Yeah, all of these things who view the United States as the invading force.
Yeah.
That we're the oppressors here.
Yeah, exactly.
The people of the country don't believe that. The people of the country, because these terrorists they're freaking animals. They terrorize their own communities that they're a part of. But it only takes one little switch, when that 50 cal hits somebody a little too close to home for one of these guys, to bring them into the fold as well. It'll go on forever. That's why we were there. How long were we in Afghanistan for?
Shoot. More than 10 years. I can say that. I
think it was over 20. If you look into some of these special forces guys, who to me are nothing short of heroes, like these guys who actually were there in the fights, who are being sent into places like Tora Bora, and who are on the front lines, they are heroes. They need to be honored and revered for exactly what they are. Nobody should say anything about them. It's the regimes in power who have everything to be blamed for. But when these guys went over there after, obviously recruitment numbers skyrocketed after 9/11, that's when a lot of these guys who are now like the real veterans of the world enlisted was after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tulsi Gabbard, I'm pretty sure was one of them.
Yeah.
But every single one of them were so fired up to go and kill bad guys. That's what they call them. These are bad guys. It's very simple. These are terrorists. These are monsters. We're here to wipe them out because we've had an attack on U.S. soil. But invariably, when you see them, when you read what they write, why do you think that there's such horrible numbers of veteran suicide? It's like for every 11 seconds a veteran kills himself in the United States. It's abominable. It's horrible because they go over there just as if in World War I, that with such fervor, with such purpose, that they're fighting for a rallying cry. And when they come back and they think about what they've done, about human beings who they've killed, it's seen as if this is like it was all for nothing. Like I myself became this killer, this animal, this monster for nothing. There's no cause. There's no reason why I'm here. I'm not doing anything. I'm not bettering Jack.
Yeah. And that's so yeah, it's a Hydra, cut off one, heads grow. And so us continually, unless, like you said, we just wiped out the whole race, religion, belief off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And if that's not going to if that's the game plan, if that doesn't radicalize them even more, I don't know. I mean, they would almost be like seeing like, hey, you want to eradicate me. Why would I not want to fight you?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And so who benefits from New Orleans getting attacked by ISIS? It would directly be Israel, which is now invading, not only like because Palestine.
It's not only Israel. It's all the same players in the game. It's
all
the same players.
You know, the United States, in a sense, are the rich, wealthy, and powerful because they're the ones who are invested in these big weapon manufacturers. And the more weapons get sent to help a war operation, the more money they make. And so, you know, Israel is invading parts of the Middle East now. You know, they're
invading Syria.
They got invaded by Palestine. They completely washed Palestine. Like, I think they waved like the white flag, like shoot. And now they're actively invading into the Middle East. And I guarantee that after this New Orleans attack, that there will be calls that we need to go back into the Middle East. But then it's the same feedback loop of madness where it's like, I mean, we were in the Middle East for 20 years. We're going to go back into the Middle East. And then there's going to be even more violence and even more lost American lives, even more radicalism.
I want to look this up. Can you think of the last terror attack on the United States? Look at this, perplexity. Based on the provided information, the most recent terror attack on the United States occurred on January 1st, 2025 in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yeah. Up to date, perplexity.
This man was from Texas.
This man
was a
Army
United States veteran.
Make that make sense.
He was born in Texas.
Make that make sense.
Somebody said, man, if you talk about stupid things, nonsense being spread around on X, I saw somebody say this guy just came over across the southern border from the one gap in the border, like a known place where they all go, the day before. be like, what are you talking about? This is what people are actually saying and believing, as if this is actually like, if you just see the headlines,
Yeah.
if you're in Wisconsin
Yeah.
and you see the headline, terrorist attack in New Orleans on New Year's Day, what are you going to think?
Comes from the border.
What are you going to think?
Yeah.
Are you going to think, is it going to cross your mind? Are you going to read? Did you see how far it was buried in that freaking article? In every article.
Yeah.
What the guy's name was, where he was from, the fact that he was a United States veteran. It's
Yeah.
almost you can't find it.
Yeah.
What are you going to think? You're going to think that this is some freaking radical Islamic terrorist from the Middle East.
Yeah.
From destabilized Syria.
Yeah.
From wherever. A part of ISIS. If you see a picture of the ISIS flag, what are you going to think?
Yeah. Further divide America too, because if people say he came through the border, then that's just going to cause even more division amongst the blue team and the red team.
And it's just not true.
It's a whole bunch of division and strife.
And we haven't even talked about the frickin' the hotel explosion, the Tesla Cybertruck explosion.
Yeah, I don't even know like what that was.
Prior to this, on October 26, 2024, and this is the most recent recorded terrorist attack in the United States. On October 26, 2024, in Chicago, Illinois, Sidi Mohammed Abdullahi carried out a shooting attack against a Jewish man on his way to a synagogue service. It's important to note that these incidents represent a concerning trend of increased Islamic terror incidents targeting the U.S. in 2024. Dude, it's just, the more that I think about it, the more it's just like, what the fuck are we talking about? What is this? What defines terrorism? Is a mass shooting terrorism? Is a gunman going into a school and murdering children, is that terrorism? I've never heard of a mass shooting be called terrorism before. Why is this terrorism? Because the guy had an Islamic State flag in his truck.
Yeah. And he was an Army veteran.
So if he did not have an Islamic State flag in his truck, would we call this an act of terror? Would this be a terrorist attack?
I think they would call him. Well, okay, didn't someone in New York drive a car into people? Remember that?
I don't know.
Did they call that terrorism?
Wait, did your mic just cut? I think it's my headphones.
Yeah, it's gonna jiggle that around a little bit. Is that good now?
I think it's okay.
Yeah. New York.
A terrorist attack is defined by several key elements: intent and motivation, aimed at advancing political, religious, or ideological goals, designed to intimidate or coerce a civilian population, intended to influence government policy or conduct, methods and targets, involves violence or threat of violence against non-combatants, often targets public places or symbolic locations, may include bombings, shootings, hijackings, or other violent acts. Impact creates a climate of fear and insecurity, seeks to generate widespread publicity, aims to disrupt normal societal functioning. Wait, we're not even talking about this. I have a cousin right now who is staying in a hotel very close to the terrorist attack in New Orleans, who people have been locked in their hotel rooms. I don't know if they still are. People have been locked in their hotel rooms for, days. My cousin still can't go back in. Can't go to his hotel room.
Really?
This many days after.
Wow.
Because you know why? Because they said that there were bombs found.
Yeah, all
throughout.
over the city, they say, or something like that. They had to disarm them.
Yet this guy was a lone wolf, they say.
Yeah, like
Were there actually bombs like that? I find that very hard to believe for some reason.
Yeah, did he go and plant bombs single-handedly?
Bullshit. There's no way.
Everywhere. As a Army veteran.
Bomb materials found in Airbnb linked to Bourbon Street terror suspect. Bomb-making materials were reportedly found at a New Orleans Airbnb as authorities investigate a possible connection to the truck ramming terror attack that killed at least 15 people and injured over 30 others on Bourbon Street. Again, terrorism. A small fire broke out at a suspected Airbnb property located in the 1300 block of Mandeville Street. That's Glenn's condo. I mean, that's Glenn's studio.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the Marigny. We used to work there. Oh, in the St. Roche neighborhood, so a little bit past. New Orleans Fire Department evacuated dozens of people from nearby homes, contacting the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Bomb-making materials found in the Yale House and one of the bomb squad to look over it, Bob King, a neighbor, said. Investigators suspect the Airbnb was rented by the now-deceased attacker, sources told the New Orleans Advocate. The FBI said it investigated an act of terrorism after Shamsud Din Jabbar, 42-year-old U.S. citizen from Texas, drove a Ford pickup truck into a crowd of New Orleans revelers.
So
Jabbar enlisted in the U.S. Navy on August 12, 2004 in Houston, was discharged from a delayed entry program 1 month later on September 13, 2004. Wait, where'd it go? Meaning he did not go to serve, a U.S. Navy spokesperson told Fox News. So he did not serve.
He didn't serve? He wasn't in the Army?
That's what this article just said.
I mean, what do you believe? What can you believe?
That was according to Fox News.
How long? What time was that?
4 hours ago.
I mean, everywhere it says U.S. Army veteran kills 14.
I'll look at it again. Let's see. Pull up an article that says that.
There's a million.
Pick one.
Time Magazine, Guardian, The Guardian, Yahoo. It all says New Orleans attack, suspect, U.S.-born Army veteran. Suspect in New Orleans attack identified as U.S. Army veteran.
I don't understand. Let's see. Wait, what's this guy's name again? Jabbar. Now I can't even find it. I'm literally in the exact same article. Did they like change this in real time? I'm serious. Where is it?
I mean, everywhere that I see it saying U.S. Army veteran. I don't see anywhere where it doesn't say that. Army veteran. Yeah, I mean, this is 100%. FBI said they believe the New Orleans attacker, 42-year-old, was 100% inspired by ISIS. Still say it's an Army veteran, though. Neighbor says suspect loaded truck in Houston and was moving to Louisiana for a job. Rents Ford F-150 pickup truck in Houston. Drives the truck from Houston to New Orleans in the evening. Jabbar is seen on surveillance video planting improvised explosive devices at the intersection of Bourbon and New Orleans streets in another. So he's just doing this in the wide open?
Jabbar said he joined ISIS before the summer and had originally planned to kill his family. According to the FBI, Jabbar felt that killing his family would not focus on the war between the believers and the disbelievers.
Jabbar posts the first 5 videos to Facebook, explains he originally planned to harm his family and friends, but was concerned the news headlines would not focus on the war between the believers and the disbelievers. He said he had joined ISIS before the summer. Jabbar posts his final video and provides last will and testament. Drives down canal, cuts suddenly and sharply to the right onto a sidewalk on Bourbon Street and runs over dozens of pedestrians. 2 officers wounded.
It's not letting me search for his name on X.
Really? Wow. Mm-hmm. Type in, just do the first part of his name.
Shamsud?
Yeah, Shamsud.
That worked.
Type in Shamsud Facebook so we can maybe see like his Facebook video.
The Daily Mail confirms that the Las Vegas Cybertruck terrorist was Matthew Levelsberger, and that he previously served at the same military base as the New Orleans terrorist Shamsuddin Jabbar.
What? What is going on here? What is going on? I mean, this is just... This is very suspicious, very...
Holy fuck.
What?
There's a video from the balcony.
She's him. That's insane. Yeah, I probably wouldn't watch that, yeah.
That's horrible.
Do you type in Facebook after Shamsud? See if we can get his Facebook video he posted. That's just a picture.
Let's see.
They have a link.
Is this him? Do you know your login stuff? Wait, maybe we don't have to.
I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist,
This is him?
where I learned the meaning of
That's
great
what they
service
said.
and what it
Are we sure this is him?
It said he posted this video.
off without a hitch. So I've taken those skills and applied them to my career as a real estate agent, where I feel like what really sets me apart from other agents is my ability to be able to, one, be a fierce negotiator.
That's him. I mean,
so
look.
not only do I brilliantly market your property to make sure it gets sold as quickly as possible or gets leased as quickly
Dude,
as possible.
he sounds
but I'm also going to take
African-American.
every ounce of energy and putting it into negotiating for you and for your property to get the
Are we sure this is him?
Yeah, look. It's got his picture. That was him. That was him in that video. I mean, it looks like him. Keep going down X. Yeah, see if there's more. I mean, that looked like him in the video.
I can't say it's a.
Look, right here, look. Video, New Orleans Tacker. I mean, he says.
That's the
Jabbar,
same
property
video.
manager with Blue Metal. Good evening. I'm Shamsuddin Jabbar,
Sounds
property manager.
He says Shamsuddin
Yeah,
Jabbar. And look, there's his
with
mugshot.
Blue Metal Properties and team lead at the Midas Group at Core Realty. I just want to say hello and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years.
Military? I mean, dude, he's like African American.
He is.
And if that's
Born and raised in the U.S., served in the U.S. military for about 10 years, and is now a member of ISIS. This doesn't add up.
Shamsuddin Jabbar hometown. Said it Beaumont?
Listen to this. Whenever the U.S. withdrawal from Syria comes to the fore, ISIS suddenly resurfaces in Syria. If it is an ISIS action, they will want to use it to put pressure on Trump. The alleged ISIS terrorist was a staff sergeant of information technology team for the 82nd Airborne Division of the U.S. Army.
Yeah, he looks African American, not Islamic. Right?
Islamic is not an ethnicity.
No, it's a religion, but he doesn't seem like he's from anything that has to do, or it doesn't seem like he has genetics of Arabian influence. Like anyone can take on a new Islamic name and join the Islamic religion. Anyone can do that. I was thinking that this dude is like Middle Eastern guy serving in the army. It's like he's
The
like
photo makes it look like that.
yeah. Oh yeah. I was sold like, oh yeah, it's a Middle Eastern guy in the army, but he's an African American guy who took on the Islamic religion in the army. Go back to full screen. We can discuss that, I guess, when you're done.
It says this here. I mean, I have no way whatsoever to verify this. His father was Pushtan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, who escaped when the Russians invaded. The senior Jabbars have another son who is a few years older, brother to Shamsud. Where's the photo of the ISIS flag? Here it is. Where are the videos of him saying he was going to kill his family?
But they're probably censoring those videos right now. That's what's happening.
He hoisted the flag upside down. I don't know. It's just so strange. I want to hear what some of these mainstream people are saying. Let's see what CNN says. Fan favorite of mine.
Sudden terror on Bourbon Street.
There were just bodies and the screams. You can't think about, unhear that. It was chaos and very, very scary.
Everything in the car is hitting, it's getting thrown.
The vehicle ran through a crowd of people. There's multiple injuries, multiple casualties. They need to canal in Bourbon.
Just hours after the clock struck midnight, the driver in a pickup truck went around barricades, according to police, killing those celebrating New Year's Eve along the iconic street. At least 15 people.
Typically on Bourbon Street and a lot of these major thoroughfares, they'll have metal barricades that come out of the ground that will block off a street.
Apparently they failed.
No, it's not that they failed. It's that around that time, which is a very, very strange time to have this happen. Why wouldn't it be in the morning or early morning, not, late night? Because the attack happened at, I think, 3 a.m. Apparently, they lower the barricades at a set time so that the bars can get restocked of all their liquor, food, all that kind of stuff. Have no idea why they would do that at 3 a.m.
On New Year's
Day.
That would be the one day where you would say, let's not lower them until
Mardi Gras,
everyone's gone.
Bourbon Street, New Orleans, that it doesn't end. The party doesn't stop. People will be there all through the day. There are places that literally don't close.
Especially New Year's, though.
Yeah,
that would be the one day you would, besides Mardi Gras, you would say, let's not lower them.
People were killed, dozens others injured.
This is not just an act of terrorism. This is evil.
The suspect, identified as Shamsuddin Jabbar, a 42-year-old man
strange
from
statement.
Texas who previously served in the U.S. military. He was driving a privately rented pickup truck from Turo, an Airbnb-type rental site for cars.
An ISIS flag was located on the trailer hitch of the vehicle, and the FBI is working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations.
But
Once
the flag was
vehicle
hoisted
stopped,
upside
The
down.
driver reportedly opened fire on responding police officers.
Law enforcement returned fire, and the subject was pronounced deceased at the scene. 2 law enforcement officers were injured and transported to local hospitals.
Witnesses are asking questions about why the city's steel mechanical barricades weren't up prior to the attack.
There was police there at the entrance, a lot of police there, but the metal barricades were not up.
Bollards were not up because they are near completion.
The FBI, which has taken over the investigation, does not believe the suspect acted alone.
We're aggressively running down every lead, including those of his known associates.
And the Sugar Bowl for college
right there.
football, scheduled to be held in New Orleans this evening, has been postponed.
All agree that it's in the best interest of everybody and public safety that we postpone the game for 24 hours.
And we are starting to learn more about the now 15 who were killed as a result of this attack, including 37-year-old Reggie Hunter from Baton Rouge. He had just texted his family Happy New Year a little earlier in the evening, according to his cousin, who tells us that he was someone who liked to laugh and tell jokes.
I'm going to skip ahead. Let me see if I can find
a
anything.
ruse so that he could kill all of them, but that over time, after having a series of dreams about joining ISIS, that he changed his plan to carry out this attack in New Orleans to create mass casualties in the name of ISIS. So what we're starting to see is an
Series of
individual who
dreams.
was,
You caught that?
Let's go back.
experiencing
Let's hear
turmoil
that
and
again.
stressors together for a cell, according to officials briefed on the videos, where it appears they're made while he's driving, but it's in the dark, so you can't really see him on these videos, recorded apparently on his phone. But he talks about the idea of getting his family together for a celebration, which would have been a ruse so that he could kill all of them, but that over time, after having a series of dreams about joining ISIS, that he changed his plan to carry out this attack in New Orleans to create mass casualties in the name of ISIS. So what we're starting to see is an individual who was experiencing turmoil and stressors in life, who was going to act out in some kind of violent way, and at least,
PTSD, no doubt.
according to what they believe are his own words, decided to do this as an alternative to killing his family. In the recordings, he also has a last will and testament where he divides up what little money he has left after all the financial losses and setbacks he had suffered to family members. So they're beginning to get a picture of what was going on, and it seems to be what was going on in the background of this individual's life that was as much of a driver as any commitment to terrorism.
Yeah, John Miller, great reporting as usual. Stand by. I'm going to get back to you in a moment or so. I want to get some more now on the federal investigation from CNN's Evan Perez. Evan, authorities have released a photo of the man identified as the driver of the truck that plowed into that crowd in New Orleans, killed 15 people, and injured dozens of others.
That's right, Wolf. And that photograph is being put out there by the FBI in part to try to drive tips from the public. They have asked, they've set up a website, fbi.gov/Bourbon Street attack. They are asking the public to send in any information, any videos, anything about where this suspect may have been over the last several days, over the last several weeks, as they were developing this plot. And we also know, obviously, as we've reported previously, that he was an Army veteran. He
okay,
served
pause
in
it,
the
Garrett.
US Army from
Full screen us. Because I think there's enough content here to actually riff on this very hard. Very interesting stuff. Obviously, okay. When I first see these articles, think the dude's Middle Eastern of ethnicity. And
when you see that photo,
yeah, when I first see this,
he is though. He is of Middle Eastern ethnicity. He's not a black man. It said that his father was Pakistani.
Maybe his mother was. He's definitely as African American.
Maybe I don't know.
Very clearly. Like you don't have to. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to. I mean, we can watch that X video again. That's very clearly African American.
Maybe
ethnicity.
Maybe.
I mean,
it appears. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, okay, but what does matter is that they're painting, the news is painting the picture that this guy's almost from the Middle East.
Yes. Was it mentioned anywhere in there that he was from Texas?
Some articles have it, yeah, some don't. But like, you have to always go down, kind of. I think. I mean, it says Texas Army veteran, but they clearly paint him as this figure from the Middle East.
I don't know why they wouldn't paint him as like Texan man from Texas terror attack.
Yeah.
Like clearly define what you're saying. Like what the actual information is.
He's a real estate agent, apparently.
He was a freaking property manager from Beaumont.
Yeah. Real estate agent. He had another thing. He had a dream about joining ISIS, and he joined ISIS. A dream.
Yeah. In all reality,
see, we're in fiction. This is science. This is sci-fi.
This guy is a mentally disturbed, broken, cracked individual. And so, regardless of, conspiracies aside of what actually happened, he could have just been a veteran with PTSD whose life was falling apart and had a complete mental breakdown and decided to take out his suffering in an act of violence or whatever. It doesn't really matter. He's a man from freaking Texas,
mm-hmm.
and it's not being painted that way whatsoever,
yeah.
even a little bit. When the headline is terrorist attack in New Orleans. Full stop. That's the headline.
Yeah.
Nowhere in there is it referred to, or not nowhere, but it's like a footnote that he's from Texas.
What matters is what is the first thing that they say to everyone, because a lot of people aren't doing research like we're doing right now, and they catch the first initial headline, ISIS terrorist attack in New Orleans, New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they start to tell their friends and family, right?
Mm-hmm.
For not everyone who's going in-depth research like we're doing right now.
You wonder what your parents saw that made them say it was a terrorist attack, that we're going to war with the Middle East.
They didn't say we're going to war. That was
the sentiment.
That was the temperature of the room.
Yes.
It was like,
what did they see?
It was the same exact thing. It was it might as well have been, wait, stay with me real quick, Garrett.
I am.
It might as well have been planes crash into the Twin Towers, terrorist attack on America's soil. Like, it was the same exact feeling. Planes crash into towers, terrorist attack on American soil, the Middle East. Once again, the Middle East strikes again. Same temperature, same, the middle, like you see him saying, like, the Middle East, we need to get in there, bomb them to smithereens again. They obviously haven't learned their lesson yet. Same temperature in the room. And I go, wait a minute. Let's coolly gather all the information about this horrible attack and then proceed from there, like logical, smart Americans kind of thing. Like we're very attentive. We're not misled. We're not sheep. We're not fooled by the media or anybody. We, self-independence. We escaped from Britain, defeated Britain, and became independent Americans. Let's be independent Americans, think for ourselves. Let's cool the temperature, get all the information that we need, and then make a judgment from there. But it was a clear terrorism in New Orleans, Middle East. That was the information that got pushed into the matrix, so to say. That was the information that got downloaded into the Wizard of Oz, man behind the curtain, projected onto the screen for everyone to see. Now all the grandmas who don't have X, don't have YouTube, are all saying terrorists from the Middle East are attacking America again.
It's this.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see the nuanced, I can see the truth. This guy was a freaking veteran and a real estate agent who served, it said, 10, 15 years in the United States Army, was deployed in the Army to the Middle East, was married twice. His life fell apart. He decided, as his mind is shattering, to kill innocent people for whatever reason, citing it as a a will to join ISIS for the Islamic State, which is spread across the world, which exists and doesn't even exist.
Which makes
wait.
Okay.
To do this, and then that's it. It's a completely, utterly isolated incident.
Which makes no sense.
No. It could make all the sense in the world.
Unless it was like the devil came to the dude, like the
No,
devil
that's what I'm
himself.
saying. Okay,
came to this guy.
Let's accept that it did.
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
accept that he went
Well, I
crazy.
don't have to. I can say it's one of the possibilities.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
Let's riff
assume.
with it.
Let's
Yeah.
assume for this train of thought that that's exactly what happened. That his
Yeah.
mind just cracked, and that he drove from Texas to New Orleans to do this, and then that's it. It's an isolated incident. End of story. Period.
Wrap it up.
The mainstream media is taking that information and projecting it on the national map.
Yeah.
Putting it out that this is a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Using that. It feels like it's like prostitution. That they're using it in order to promote a narrative, an agenda, to use a tragedy to say that, I mean, let's just cut to the chase, to frickin' stifle tension between the Middle East and America after we just pulled out, even though we're still there, for whatever reason. But that's what it is.
So, okay, let me say something. As an American, an independent American, thinks for himself, I have the energy of Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin and George Washington. I have their energy, okay? I have a cousin that just enlisted in the Army. I have my cousin's husband is stationed outside of Israel in the Army right now. As an American, I have an invested interest to protect my own family. I don't want them going to die in the Middle East for anybody. Because I don't think that Americans need to die in the Middle East.
In no way would it serve America's interest to get involved in Syria.
My little cousin, Joseph Lemoyne, not to dox him, sorry, just enlisted in the U.S. Army. I don't want them to say, we need to go to war with the Middle East again. He gets deployed in the Middle East and then dies in the Middle East. I as an American, I have an invested interest in protecting my own family. Vested interest, hard vested interest, independent thinking. No, they do not need to die in the Middle East anymore. Americans do not need to die anymore.
100%.
And for them to release in the media ISIS terrorism, Middle East terrorism attack on U.S. soil, New Orleans, is very irresponsible, very
at the least.
Pushing an agenda, at the least, if not nefarious. Which I lean towards nefarious. And what I actually think is going on here
to me,
is nefarious.
Like, it's an insult to the people who died.
It's the insult to the people who died in the Revolutionary War. It's an insult to people who died in the Civil War. It's an insult to the people who died in World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Iraq, everything. It's an insult to Americans, period, to push this message irresponsibly without first getting all the correct information and giving a nuance.
And putting that information in context.
Putting it where the average American can easily ingest all the facts and make an informed, educated decision for themselves about the whole situation. So very clearly that they are instigating war in the Middle East again. So clear. I mean, fool me once, fool me twice. You know, that kind of thing. Fool me once, fool me twice. It's very evident that they're doing the exact same thing that launched us into the Middle East from 9/11 on. And what happened with 9/11? I mean, we won't go down this rabbit hole, but what happened in 9/11 after that happened, where some of the most privacy restricting bills or executive
100%.
orders were instilled, of the Patriot Act.
Yeah, do you know when the NSA was invented?
I don't know. The Patriot Act?
Yes.
How no. Before, surveillance was only allowed on non-US citizens. Patriot Act. Surveillance is now allowed on US citizens.
100%. And that was everything with Edward Snowden.
Edward Snowden, Julian Assange.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
See, I'm getting amped right now. Now I'm amped. Before I was sorrowful and sad. Now I'm angry. I'm going through all the emotions.
Who do you think the largest shareholders are in U.S. media companies? Just
BlackRock and the big groups.
Just like in essentially every single company that exists.
Wow, it's really thinking about that question.
Yeah. I'm asking it to compile a lot of data. Okay, Comcast.
Vanguard,
BlackRock, State Street. AT&T, Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street.
Surprise.
Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, Vanguard, BlackRock.
Surprise.
Walt Disney Company, Vanguard, BlackRock, State
Surprise.
Street. Warner Brothers, Advanced Newhouse Programming Partnership. Then guess what?
BlackRock Vanguard. Surprise.
Netflix, Vanguard, BlackRock.
Surprise.
Paramount, Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh.
Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street.
Surprise. Who's the largest investor in Berkshire?
Buffett. And then
BlackRock Vanguard,
State Street.
Surprise.
BlackGuard, Vanguard, State Street. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street.
Vanguard, BlackRock, Vanguard, BlackRock, Vanguard,
Fox News,
BlackRock.
Murdoch family, Vanguard, BlackRock.
Yeah.
Dodge and Cox, State Street. News Corp, Vanguard, Fiduciary Trust Company, 14.97%. BlackRock, State Street.
Yeah.
Here you go, Perplexity. Some key observations from the data.
Yeah.
Vanguard and BlackRock appear as a major shareholders across
all media.
All media.
Every single bit of media except X, Rumble, and the small ones. The small independently owned medias.
And so this is the thing. When you see Stephen Colbert dancing with a vaccine during COVID lockdowns, you'd be like, what moron would prostitute themselves that egregiously on national television unless this guy was just bought and sold by whatever interest is dictating them? Why would he do that? Because who's the biggest advertisers by far across all corporate media?
Yeah.
The vaccine companies, the people who are producing this exact agenda. Why would they so aggressively attack Joe Rogan? Why would Meta, Twitter at the time, every other Google, YouTube, why would every one of the largest social media companies ban, cancel, censor anything speaking about the potential dangerous side effects of the vaccine and the limited risk of actually getting COVID?
Yeah.
Because they have a vested interest. Because it's not that they're just the person in the newsroom saying, this is what we're running, this is how it is. It's because whoever is funding all of these companies is saying from the top down, listen here, MFs. Listen here, bought and sold media corporate shills.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to do.
This is what you're going to say.
This is what you're going to say. Or guess what? That $17 million contract that you get every year that lets you go wherever you want, that makes you this and that.
A universal citizen?
That's gone away. Because if you don't do it, we're going to just, pick you up, replace you with another shill who will. And that's why nobody trusts any of this bullshit that they're putting out. And everybody's unanimously woken up.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
because we're tired of this shit. We're tired of being sold propaganda as news.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And answer my question. Why does my family have to go die in the Middle East?
Dude, if shit really hit the fan, you'd have to go die in the Middle East.
I'm not going.
You'd ask get drafted.
I'd do. I'd be Muhammad Ali, and be like, I'm the greatest, but I'm not doing that.
Didn't they pass some kind of a bill updating draft requirements and eligibility?
Maybe, yeah. You know what I want to do, Garrett,
Hmm.
for this episode? I want to turn on the Bluetooth on the Vocaster, connect it to my phone, and then call Debo and laser him into this podcast.
Okay. Yeah, we can take 5.
That'd be an interesting thing to have. Let's see how that's even done. Oh shoot! Yeah, just turned it on. See, let's see Bluetooth.
Wait. Hold on. Oh.
What?
The most recent U.S. military draft legislation is the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, for fiscal year 2025. You ever heard of that before?
Nope. Maybe.
No shit, you haven't.
Yeah.
No shit, you haven't heard of it. Which contains provisions related to the Selective Service System. Key aspects of this legislation include the House of Representatives passed its version of the fiscal year 2025 NDAA on June 14th, 2024, which includes a provision for automatic registration of men aged 18 to 25 with the Selective Service System. Automatic registration. Automatically registered eligible men when they turn 18. Remove the burden on individuals, to manually register.
So gracious of them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as like the IRS knows all your taxes before you even do your taxes.
Yes.
So they make you do the taxes, but at the when you submit your taxes, they already know what you owe them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's like if they were like, yeah, we're gonna just start sending you what you owe us instead of you having to do taxes. Oh, so nice of you, thank you.
It has not yet become law. What would be the purpose of expanding that?
Yeah.
What is the purpose?
War. All right, on that note, Garrett, take a break real quick. Come back. Connect Bluetooth to this.
This is interesting. Let's take a look at this.
I just think we have to get right into it. I just think we have to get right into it, and that's the New Orleans Bourbon Street attack. At least 10 dead, 30 injured after driver plows into New Year's revelers on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Rob, is it 10 or is it 11 now? Can you double?
15.
It's 15.
Yeah, it's up to 16, I believe.
Is it 16 now? Okay, so is it really 16 now, Rob?
It was 15 last night. I saw it multiple
Can
news
you
sources
check to see
around
what the
midnight.
death toll is now? I thought it was higher than that. 15. Okay, death toll. Let's open that one up, Rob, if you could. So death toll rises to 15 in New Orleans, terrorism attack. The suspect in the deadly attack that killed 15 people and injured dozens of others has been identified by the FBI. Let me read a little bit more to see if we have any other facts on this one here. 35 injured. This happened, a truck rammed into crowds on Bourbon Street at 3:15 a.m., followed by a gunfight with police. The driver described as hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did. According to Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick, was killed by officers. The FBI, which is investigating the incident as an act of terrorism, at first they didn't want to say it, but they eventually said it, revealed that at least one suspected improvised explosive device was found at the scene, although its connection to the driver remains unconfirmed. Witness Jimmy Cothran described seeing 8 bodies sprawled out on the street, adding dead right in front of us was someone's mother, twisted, obviously deceased. One man deceased had tire tracks across his back and stomach and was clearly crushed. A little girl, oh my God, a little girl that we had seen dancing was as flat as a pillow. That's even tough to read. Oh my goodness. And a ton has come out on this individual.
I got PBD. If you want to put your headphones on.
Even one of the stories that came out on the addendum, Rob, if you want to play that clip on the New York Post site, FBI confirms terror suspect Shamsud Dean.
The headline of this is FBI knew hours before.
Jabraz flying ISIS flag. Is that it, Rob, that he's flying the ISIS flag?
So this is the clip of the truck. I have it before it goes into the crowd if you want to show it.
Yeah, show it before it goes into the crowd.
Other B-roll of the truck as well.
Okay, let's see some B-roll here.
So this is
that's 3:15 a.m.
This is just traffic on the side street.
And he's going to take a
That's
right
canal.
here.
Let me ask you a question. What camera is so focused on that truck?
That's a
Why
very
is
good-
that camera following it? Why does the
Look.
camera know to follow the white truck?
Well, see that's the barricade right there, people. Now watch what he does. He stops, and then he takes his hard right, and then boom, he's going. And now he's going.
I can't even look at that,
No,
man.
and now he's gone. He's going 80 miles an hour down a narrow street, and now they all know that.
Well, let me ask you, why, Tom? Why does the camera know to follow that?
I'd like to know whose footage this is. That's what I'd really like to know. Have they edited down into a square for us, maybe a security camera from across the street, or who is taking this and knows to take this? Or is this multiple?
Because you know the Ring cameras, like you know those cameras that people are out there, or even the PZT cameras. Are the PZT cameras able for you to track something after the event? No, right?
Right. I don't know why it would, because there's multiple vehicles moving in the traffic on that street.
That's interesting. So
And
what is
that
this?
These are now the cameras that are outside of establishments, like watching your door. Or whatever.
And this is where he's driving 80 miles an hour, and the people get out the way.
Everybody gets out of the way in this video, but yeah, you just want to see how quick. he's
Look
going
at-
down
Go
the
ahead,
street.
Rob.
Look at, oh my goodness, bro.
Jeez,
Oh
that car missed that
my
girl by a
God.
second.
You see, that camera doesn't move,
Whew.
so that's an external security camera.
Have you spent any time on Bourbon Street? Have
Of
you guys
course.
ever
Of
been
course,
there?
yes. Of course.
Many times.
You know, I was there less than a year ago with Deli. We were filming on this exact street. And then that's just on a random day throughout the year. On New Year's,
Oh, man.
too many people are out there reveling, having a great time. And this is what comes out of absolute nowhere.
And by the way, more people would have been killed further down the street and nobody's pointing out, he struck a construction bucket loader.
Thank
and that was the end of the
And this is it. Well, this is it right here, Pat. You know, this is the shootout.
And we're not going to play the video because I don't want to put that out there, but we will play the audio so you can hear. This is as soon as he gets out of the vehicle, then you can hear the gunshots ringing out and people fleeing.
Go for it. So he's getting out?
Yeah. And those are him, because he got out. He had a gun. He had 2 guns, and he had devices on him. But as soon as he got out, they started shooting at him.
So do you have the clip of President Biden saying that the New Orleans attacker who killed 15 was inspired by Islamic State group? Do you have that clip?
Yes,
Go
sir.
for it.
The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack. Possibly.
Do you have the clip of him saying the things? Of what he's going to be doing? Like actual...
Just repeating exactly.
I don't know if they let them post that.
I've not seen that. I've seen multiple news sources talking about it, but I could not find the clip.
The only video that they have released is the video of him talking about being a realtor.
But this is years ago.
Yes, 2021.
And this, by the way, this guy was a former vet. I think he was stationed at the 82nd, if I'm not mistaken. And if you want to play the clip, go for it.
That's right. Served in Afghanistan. I'm Shamsuddin Jabbar, property manager with Blue Metal Properties and team lead at the Midas Group at Core Realty. I just want to say hello and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas.
Yeah, that's an accurate clip right there.
I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist, where I learned the meaning of great service and what it means to be responsive and take everything seriously, dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that things go off without a hitch. So I've taken those skills and applied them to my career as a real estate agent, where I feel like what really sets...
Look at how well-spoken and put together this guy is.
Yeah.
Does this seem somebody who's mentally
unhinged, about to crack and have a dream and go off of his dream of carrying out ISIS's will to the United States? Very suspicious. The whole thing's
everything.
Whole thing's strange. And you got to question them. Who benefits? Who benefits? Like you said. Let's call Debo. See if he answers. I want to get him in on this. This will be good. I think I have to do it from FaceTime. FaceTime? Hey, look at that. It's got us on the FaceTime. See, this is a way we can bring in people. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, no Debo.
Damn.
Let me see. I want to try Trip.
Oh my gosh. Trip, you're live.
This is oh my god. What's up, world?
What's up, brother?
Welcome to the surf bunker.
Oh, this is it. This is Venice Beach.
This is the life, man.
Yeah, we wanted to bring you on the show. We're gonna try to get Debo too, and talk about what
you
you.
gotta wait a few hours. It's only 10:30. He's gonna wake up at like 2 p.m.
Okay.
Did he have a show last night?
No.
So he's just waking up.
He had a New
that
Year's
late.
show, yeah.
At 2 p.m. every day.
This is late.
I'm a little late too, not gonna lie.
Did we wake you up, Trip?
Yeah.
No, sorry about that.
Yeah, Trip.
That's cool.
We wanted to get you in here on the New Orleans discussion. I
Man.
know it's a tall order, Trip, but we're here.
How much longer are y'all gonna be live?
We've been live for a
We've
while.
been live for like 2 hours. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Oh God.
We were like, we wanted to bring in our bros in California from New Orleans. Has walked New Orleans up and down
Look,
a
dude,
million
yeah,
times.
I was on that street day after Christmas and probably the day after that.
Think of Jimmy's
All up and down
condo.
the street.
We were
Look,
at
dude, I was
Jimmy's
I was
condo on Monday, which
Yeah.
is I mean a block and a half away.
Yeah.
Because
And
he went off Canal. He peeled off a Canal Street.
dude, my like I was like walking, like my parents and I, we went to Brennan's probably like 2 days before Christmas. We stood right there in the middle of the street, like taking like videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
We've been on Bourbon at 3:15 a.m. on New Year's Day. I mean, many
Yeah,
times.
on New Year's. Yeah. No, like we've been out there in the street on New Year's. Like that's what's so crazy. I was like, wow, man. Like we very easily could have been there, and like I know about it. My cousin's husband's best friend from Texas or something like that. Finance guy in New York came to like visit his family in New Orleans. Just happened to be right out there at the wrong time, and unfortunately, yeah, he's one of the victims.
Really?
Yeah, just like and this is what she said. She was like, he just came into town to visit his family, like something that that we all do. Um, yeah, man. So that's just really scary. And what's really upsetting me is that people like I read through some of these comments on Instagram. Maybe I should put on a shirt.
No one can actually see you right now. I could bring you in where people can see you, but no one can see you
No,
right now.
no.
So they just
No,
hear
don't
your
do that.
voice.
See if you
No, don't do that.
can you get him to be seen?
No,
No?
not yet.
I could, but not
Look,
not unless he
okay,
wants us
stop,
to.
stop.
Yeah.
All right, stop. Listen, we're falling off track. But what's really upsetting me is that I see comments about like people saying like, oh, like they're getting conspiracy theorists about it already. People are saying like, oh, the ISIS flag was planted. Like this is all, I don't know, just people just saying like it's it's planted.
Our problem is that what we've been talking about is that if you read the headlines, like John had dinner with his family last night, and they were basically like, we're ready to go back to war with ISIS. We're ready to invade the Middle East, to go to Syria, to do all this kind of stuff. And when you look at the headlines, I feel like they're prostituting the victims by saying that this is a Islamic terrorist attack when this guy was from Beaumont, Texas. He was an Army veteran. He served 10 years in Afghanistan.
He was a real estate agent.
He was a real estate
So
agent
are
from
you kind of
Texas.
just saying like, look, this was just like a crazy guy and this shit happens?
Apparently, what all the news says is that he was like this uptight. Like there's a video of him on Facebook, like a well cut in a suit. Like, hi, I'm a real estate agent
Yeah, I
for
saw
this
that
real
one.
estate
I saw that.
agency.
I saw that.
And apparently, he had a dream about ISIS that inspired him to do this.
Look, dude, he might have just been a crazy guy. I don't think he's a terrorist. I don't think he's like important enough to be connected with all that.
No, exactly though. But that's the problem that we have, is that that's what they're saying. They're saying that the way that they're presenting it to the world is that this was a terrorist attack.
Yeah, it's kind of like 9/11. Like it's like New York's like 9/11 almost, in a sense. Like terrorist attack on American soil by the Middle East.
I mean, it's terrible, but like, I mean, definitely a lot more people and a lot more destruction happened. A lot more people died on 9/11.
Well, no, exactly. No, that's what we're saying. It's not like that at
And
all.
like,
They're
like
painting
this,
it
like
as this
car,
is purely
this, like,
a
car
terrorist.
driving through. This like car driving through people is like what they had one in South Carolina maybe a year and a half ago.
That's what it was. Yeah. I think you're right.
So, I don't know, but then they're saying all this stuff about how he had like bombs planted and
yeah,
Airbnb and the Maroney on Mandeville Street, right where we used to work with Glenn.
What does your parents say
Yeah,
about
Bob.
this trip? Have you talked to them at all?
not in depth. Yeah, I just haven't really spoken to them in depth about it. I was gonna probably get around to doing that today. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty upset.
Well, any I guess closing thoughts, Trip? I mean, we'll continue the show.
Yeah, we don't want to keep you or interrupt your day.
Closing thoughts. Look, I just hope New Orleans is like a strong place, and we've been through lots of the whole city's been through lots of hard things, so we'll definitely bounce back from this. I just hope going forward that maybe they increase like some safety measures on Bourbon Street, because it's certainly never been a safe place. But
True.
People are going to be going out there regardless. We're only months away from Mardi Gras and
the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Super Bowl as well. And unfortunately, I don't think this is going to stop anybody from going out there, because the economy really relies on tourism and that street. So
it's true.
Just going forward, I think the only option is just to just increase security, and there were talks of making parts of the French Quarter walkable only. So maybe that's what's gonna have to start happening.
I think that's smart. The metal barricades were not up either; they were down.
Right. Yeah. So I think I just think if the city of New Orleans wants to keep Bourbon Street a thing, they're gonna have to get more serious about some security stuff.
Yeah, there's parts of I think it's maybe it's in Memphis or maybe it's in Nashville, but there's a main thoroughfare in one of those cities in Tennessee where in order to maybe it's Beale Street in Memphis, in order to get on the street, you have to go through essentially a security checkpoint. They have metal detectors, they check you out, they do all that kind of stuff where it's almost like you're entering into an open air mall or something like that, where there's just no way to get past it with anything hazardous.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, just in short, closing thoughts and prayers, everybody. This is terrible. I don't think this is anything just to brush our shoulders off at. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is very real, and just everybody needs to come together and love each other, and let those give people time to mourn and grieve.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
All right, brother.
All right, Trip.
Okay, y'all are great. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Trip.
All right, love y'all. Bye bye.
Love you too, man. Bye.
Cool, huh? Yeah, we can bring on multiple people. We can bring on Debo, Trip, Jimmy all at once, and then just put the FaceTime screen as a thing in OBS.
Yeah, it's good. I like that a lot.
It could have been too. And I guess we can close, Garrett, at the 2-hour mark. We're nearly there, 7 minutes, some change. I think that's enough. It could have been that the guy himself wasn't a conspiracy. But I would say
that's what I think.
Every kind of reaction after the guy himself doing what he did is a conspiracy in my eyes. If it wasn't the guy himself.
My take on it as of now, unless new information arises, is that this guy was in fact a lone wolf, a sole operative, that he was cracked, financially burdened, and that essentially had a snapping point, potentially could be linked to PTSD, and wanted to commit an act of evil out of madness, and did exactly that. And that I think I'm disgusted by the mainstream media's coverage of it, and how I feel like they're using this as a propping point to promote their own agenda, to promote this narrative of New Orleans being attacked by a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
And then I think that it's grossly dishonest. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean that's so you got 5 more minutes. Yeah, that's a very interesting thing. I wonder what new information they'll tack on it. And I wonder if the Cybertruck blowing up in front of Trump Tower, and they went to the same military school. I mean, that in itself is like, what's
That's
going
so
on
weird.
there?
That is so weird. That just throws such a freaking monkey wrench in everything.
I mean,
that is very strange.
What
the fact
even
that Toro was used as the rental car app for both could be a pure coincidence.
I mean, what even happened with the Trump Tower thing? I mean, I guess we could touch that very briefly.
Have you seen the video of it?
I saw the video, yeah, but like, what even is that? What happened?
No, I
there?
read it. I read it briefly when we first got going.
You want to X that or?
Well, I looked it up briefly. It was in another article. About,
maybe
they
just
found gasoline. They found fuel canisters. They found fireworks in it. It wasn't. I mean, a frickin' Tesla Cybertruck just doesn't explode at random.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Maybe it'd be better to read a mainstream article on it, because you might just find the videos of it exploding.
Here is the video.
Not the background. Show it on. Do the OBS. Scroll up a little bit. Yeah. Boom. Looks like fireworks. Looks like it got filled up with fireworks.
It is.
Boom. That was an explosion.
There's a man inside, too.
Boom. Looks like a bomb.
Does look like a bomb.
Look
It
up
was a bomb.
Look up mainstream article. Just see, like, is there any motive? Is there any, like, who is this guy? What happened there? Was it ISIS again?
Dude, if they say anything about ISIS,
Yeah.
I mean, NBC, first article. The suspicious blast is being investigated as a possible terrorist
attack.
3 senior
Good
law
Lord.
It's also so strange that it's like, think of the new alliance between Musk and Trump, and that this occurred in a Cybertruck outside of
it's
a Trump hotel.
It's very fiction. Doesn't seem like real life.
Blast came hours after a driver in a rented pickup truck who was flying an ISIS flag plowed into New Year's Eve revelers on Bourbon Street, New Orleans, killing at least 15 and injuring 30 others. Pickup truck, same company. Officials know the Tesla was rented in Colorado but declined to divulge the name of the person who died in the inferno. We do know who rented this truck, he added, but found no link to ISIS or any other terrorist organization. We believe this is an isolated incident. But they served at the same... Wait, who served at the same military base? Who? The guy who died in the truck? The guy who rented it? Or are they the same person?
Wait, is there more information, though, just off of the Tesla explosion?
Not that I can see. Authorities have yet to confirm the identity of the suspect in the truck explosion in Las Vegas, but several news outlets have identified the person as a 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger of Colorado Springs. Like Jabbar, Livelsberger is also a U.S. citizen and Army veteran. The two men served at the same military base, Denver 7 investigations report, whatever. Citing unnamed sources, the outlet did not name the base in question. Newsweek is working on verifying this report.
Maybe they're still trying to see about that. I mean, the New Orleans thing kind of overrode that big time as far as capturing national attention.
It did. Jabbar enlisted in the Army in 2007, working in both human resources and information technology. He deployed to Afghanistan from February 2009 to January 2010. He transferred
so
to the
he
U.S.
fought
Army
in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
He fought in the Middle East.
He transferred into the U.S. Army Reserve in 2015 and left the military in 2020 with the rank of Staff Sergeant. Livelsberger had been in the Army since January 2006, with the majority of his career in the Special Forces, according to a LinkedIn profile. His most recent role was listed as a remote and autonomous systems manager, which he had been in since November. Jeez, this has so many typos in it, this article. That'd be even stranger if he was in Special Forces, man. Those guys are freaking elite.
Yeah. So the New Orleans guy fought in the Middle East.
He was deployed. Whether or not he saw active combat, I don't know.
Isn't that insane that he was in the Middle East and now they're saying like ISIS attack Middle East?
It's not impossible. There's this book that I'm reading called One Green Beret that talks about he was deployed in Croatia, this guy, and he met a guy there randomly at a cafe. It's actually a really fascinating story. The guy sat down at a cafe next to an African-American man who sighed when he saw him, went, thinking that they were there for him. He goes, let me guess, Green Beret and Navy SEAL? Because he was with another guy. They were like, what the hell? Like, how'd you know that? Because they didn't have any patches identifying what regime they were a part of. He goes, whatever they tell you, just know that I'm really a nice guy. And then got up from the cafe, walked away, didn't see him again. Turns out that guy was a fugitive who used to be a special operative for whatever branch, who had joined some kind of a movement and was like basically joined the opponent for whatever it was in the region at the time, but had conducted similar kinds of activities like terrorist activities in the region.
Yeah, insane. Stranger than fiction.
I guess it's not impossible.
All right, well, I think that just about ends it. You can just hit right here, stop streaming, stop. Later, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you made it this far, I'd be absolutely freaking amazed.
Yeah.
But if you wouldn't mind giving, we want to make this show into a platform exercising free speech and going over things like this that we, in today's world where it's so hard to discern what the truth is, voices that are out there speaking against the grain that are brave enough to actually talk about the truth, the capital T truth, are more important now than ever. Anything you guys can do to show support is more than appreciated. But at a bare minimum, we would really love like and a subscribe. It would mean the world to us. Thanks for watching, everybody.